So what is going on, guys? I'm Black Ops Amazing. Welcome back to another video on the channel. If my voice does sound a bit weird in today's video, apparently I've got a little bit of a cold. It's not the C word, which we can't say on YouTube, so hopefully it's not too annoying to listen to. If it is, then I am very, very sorry. But I was just thinking about something that we're probably never going to see in Call of Duty again, and that is a celebrity cast of characters within Call of Duty Zombies. But this video as a whole isn't really to do with that. It's more to do with the fact that I think microtransactions, for the most part, there are exceptions, have ruined not just Call of Duty, but video games in general. I thought this very well, and like I said, there are good parts as well. But what brought it back up again for me was the controversy surrounding Overwatch 2. Now, I personally didn't play the first one all that much. I did buy it, I did play a few games. I could never really get into it. This style of arcade shooter isn't really for me, similar games to it. Even Call of Duty multiplayer for the past few years I haven't really been a big fan of, but I was thinking one of the reasons why I don't play multiplayer games as much anymore, I do think has something to do with microtransactions, battle passes, paid content. Not too long ago, there were a lot of games that you would class as pay to win. I think that system has kind of been dumbed down a bit over the past few years. There was the whole problem of gambling in games and gaming companies having to remove that and change their formula. But microtransactions as a whole, whatever you want to class them as, skins, weapons, for me has a lot to do with games just not being as fun or feeling like they were made for gameplay, for the players. Instead of developers just making content for people to have fun with, it's now more them making content for them to make money, which obviously you would expect, because whatever development studio it is, Treyarch, Infinity Ward, Epic, Rockstar, whatever publisher it is, Activision, they are a business. They're in this to make money. But games in the 2000s, even the early 2010s, felt like video games. Whereas over the past few years, a lot of video games feel like they're now just being pumped out to make money. Like I said, that's fine, but in some cases, it does take away from the gameplay. But like I was saying, Overwatch 2 is really the reason why I brought this up again, because even though I haven't played the second one, I've been seeing a ton of people complaining that the only reason it really exists is so that they could implement microtransactions in a way that they couldn't in the first one. And it's funny because the first Overwatch did have loot boxes. When they were new, that sparked a lot of controversy, but people got used to that system, and in a way, you could say it was fair. A lot of people thought that system was a lot better than the one that Overwatch 2 has, because you could essentially get everything for free. There are some things in the new one that you can still get for free if you grind towards it, as like most games. The Battle Pass, for example, I think it's every second one you can get for free if you complete all of your weekly challenges, which means you have to stay dedicated. To be honest, the Battle Pass is probably the most fair thing out of anything. And again, that goes for a lot of games. Fortnite, Call of Duty even, we'll get more into that. I suppose the main issue is skins. I like skins in video games. Some of them on COD look epic. Fortnite, when I used to play that, I brought some skins that looked, well, in my opinion, really good. That's why I brought them. Overwatch as well. But one consistency I've noticed between all games that does this is the price of them. If you take your minds back to the BO2 days, you could get weapon skins for, I think it was like £2 or £3. Actually, just looking it up because I don't really see games do this anymore. They were called personalization packs back in BO2. They were actually, according to this, $1.99, which is even cheaper than I thought. And you would get a weapon camo along with some reticles. These days that might not sound like much, but for the early days of COD where we didn't have skins, we weren't given new weapons every week, besides from new maps, that was it. So to be able to buy camos first off back in 2012 was something unique, but to be able to get them for just $1.99, and they weren't some lame skins either. Some of the camos that we had were weaponized 115, the cyborg one, dragon pack, party rock, there was the zombie pack as well. I think for $2, these were worth it. I wouldn't expect them to be free. Developers have to work on making these, and those developers need to be paid, and the money to pay them has to come from somewhere, even though obviously Call of Duty earns more than enough just from initial sales of physical and digital copies, let alone DLC. But I still wouldn't expect them to be free, and I think $2 was a bargain. But compared to the price of skins nowadays, people are paying £15, £20 for one skin in a game. Most of the better bundles we see in COD cost 2,400 COD points, where you usually do get a character skin, a couple of weapon skins, a finishing move, calling cards, emblems, charms, and some quips as well. Maybe it's just me, but one of these costing 2,400 COD points that amount of points equates to £17. It's crazy to me to think that a lot of people do spend that amount of money just for one bundle. And a lot of the time, throughout a Call of Duty's life cycle, which is usually 1 year, people won't just purchase the one bundle and then that's it. It'll be one each season, or 4 or 5, maybe 6 different bundles a year. That's £85 more than the actual game costs. To me, that's just mind-blowing because it's never really been something I've done. I don't think I've ever brought a bundle in COD. I did buy a couple of skins in Fortnite, even that game, where you could argue you got less. You were still paying upwards of £20, $20 for content like this. I don't know, maybe it is just me, but when you're spending more money in-game than what it cost you to actually buy the game in the first place, there's surely something wrong there. You could say the same for FIFA and FIFA packs, people spending thousands when the game costs about 70. Yeah, it's mind-blowing. And if we look at the maximum amount of COD points you can actually purchase at once, which is 21,000, the price of this is £124. That's the maximum amount of money you can spend at once in COD. It's crazy. The least amount is £2, which is 200 COD points, which really doesn't get you much. Yeah, it's something that I've never really gotten. And I think as the years have gone by, it's something that's got worse, because if we even go back to when this all began in COD, when we first started to have loot boxes in, I think it was Advanced Warfare back in 2014 when this system was first introduced, and they were called supply drops. The difference was back then is you could buy pretty much everything through in-game currency, which you could earn in-game. It then got worse and worse, and then was kind of scaled back during World War II, I believe it was, which a lot of people argued was the most fairest system, until it turned into what we see today. The Battle Pass is probably the most fairest system, even though I haven't brought one for the longest time. The last time I checked, you only have to pay for it once, which costs about $10, not too much to be fair, and once you've done that, you can then earn enough COD points throughout the Battle Pass to be able to buy the next one. So you should only have to spend $10 once throughout a COD game's life cycle if you complete each battle pass. I don't know if that's changed now, but that system is fine. But everything else, skins, whether it be characters or weapons, even though it's not pay to win, it's a choice, it's expensive. And bringing this back to Call of Duty Zombies, this is probably the main reason why we don't have a set cast anymore. We don't have people like Richtoff and Takeo and Klein Dempsey. Why we don't have celebrity characters. This is the reason why we now play as boring, lifeless operators, as they've been described as. It does take away from the gameplay side. If Treyarch were to introduce a set cast of characters back in Zombies, if they were to give us celebrity casts again and force us to play as them like they used to, instead of being able to choose operators, that would take a hell of a lot of revenue away from Treyarch, because it would mean people that just play COD for Zombies, or play a little bit of both multiplayer and Zombies, will be less likely to buy skins if operators aren't a thing. Which goes back to what I said in the beginning with microtransactions taking away from the gameplay. I don't know, maybe it's just me. I've never really been a person that spends in-game money anyway. I usually buy the game, I will buy the new maps, but anything else, skins, weapons, I won't. And maybe part of the reason for this is because I don't want to support this system, because I do think it does take away from gameplay. When developers are earning so much money from this system, it starts to take away from other things. And also when it's constantly pushed in your face, I don't know, I just felt I kind of wanted to rant about it. I don't think it's something that's ever going to change now. It's a staple in all games. It is also a lot better than loot boxes, for example. Gambling, I guess. You know what you're getting. It's not pay to win in Call of Duty, but £20 for a skin? God damn. So yeah, there we go. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. As always, hopefully you've enjoyed the video today. If you have, drop a like rating. Make sure you are subscribed to stay up to date with the latest content on the channel. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Until then, goodbye.